We now know we're getting an expansion at the end of the summer, early fall. Blizzard's been dropping content like crazy. And evidently, Mr. Bellular is impressed. Okay, Blizzard, I am impressed. I am as well. Let's see what Bellular is so impressed by. Probably a lot of the same that we are. Let's check this out.
Everyone, this is what we're going to be getting from WoW in 2024 on both Modern and Classic. It looks like a lot, and today I'm going to break it down, what it all means, the room for surprises, what's most important to know, just when all of this will happen,
I'll fix
based
this.
on times of the past as well. Blizzard are coming out pretty confident, so let's go. This is the Modern roadmap till the end of next year. Okay, patch 10.2.5 Seeds of Renewal is something we already know about. We reclaim Gilneas, close the book on our Dragonflight crew via the epilogue quest lines, and chill with the new Azerothian Archives event, which, by the way, rewards this.
Thank you so much for the sub.
Hello, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thanks
Christmas
for the
to you
giveaway,
too.
Sam.
Anytime, Azabi. Thank you so much for the sub, man. Death Knight of our Scourge.
Pretty cool, and per Blizzard, it shows just a little bit of what a new archaeology would look like directionally, and this patch is live in January. And then a mystery 10.2.6, a flag just thrown atop the big metal pole that the rest of the patches seem to have.
Guys, you know what I'm hoping for this flag, honestly? Now, all jokes aside, we do love the pirate stuff around here, so we're going to get some pirate content, which is, of course, fantastic. But here's the thing. What if they bring back island expeditions in some fashion? You know, don't get angry, okay? Island expeditions I feel bad for because I feel like they had so much potential. They could have been so cool, but unfortunately, Azerite Armor kind of stole the show in that expansion. They just had to fix that the entire expansion, so they didn't have time to really get island expeditions, you know, fully going. But I really think they could bring those back for some type of world events, some type of exploration stuff, pirate shit. I feel like there's still a place for island expeditions in WoW. And maybe 10.2.6 we see the return. Pirate Island expeditions.
Hang from in that graphic.
Who knows?
Could we read into that? Who knows? Mike Ybarra did say no pirates a while ago whenever
there you go,
thought,
Uncle Jemima. No pirates.
That the Night Squall, who you'll learn about in a sec, could have been the driving force of our new expansion. So Ybarra said no pirates, however it does look like pirates somehow are happening. Now, of course, with the character of the Night Squall, basically, right, we saw him in 10.07, and from what I know, he was just kind of a fun thing left there so they could do something with it, right, if it made sense to do. I suppose it's always good to keep the narrative pantry stocked. But anyway, the lore here is he sailed to the other side of the sea to some crazy land, currently stuff that is unknown to us, canonically speaking, and he came back. Right, he came back from across the storming sea, it would seem, and if this all seems kind of mad, I broke it down for you in this video a little while ago.
That's right.
But apparently he returns from his trip.
Oh my god, this all reminds me of the Avalorn leaks and everything. You guys remember how into this shit we were? We were like, we're going to Avalorn, and it's going to be a pirate expansion, and we're going to ride ships, dragon ride ship style. Man, there's some shit in that expansion that we used to think we were getting that I still kind of am sad that we're not getting. Like dragon riding style pirate ships, you know, like dynamically sailing the open seas in WoW. Maybe one day.
He starts consolidating pirate fleets and bandits wherever he can, and to me kind of sounds like a more esoteric sort of character, more of a Euron Greyjoy from the books, of course, if you know Thrones. While it could seem hard to see where he would fit in, you could maybe think that if Avalorn was going to be a patch zone in this next expansion, which, I mean, is not an insane prospect, then maybe this could help to set him up. Yeah, so, pirates, yes. Content, though, we don't know. We really don't. And I think you can see here that Holly and the team are enjoying our pain in not knowing. Or it could be totally different. I mean, hey, who's to say we don't randomly bring back Tethys from Legion? He was a fun character. In addition to being the 5th largest moon of Saturn, he's also the fleet admiral of the Bloodsail Buccaneers. Maybe we have a beach episode with him. Now, this patch is right beside Season 4's start, so I imagine we'll get this patch and then maybe a week later, the actual season. And
yeah, this patch must be, it's going to be a shorty. There's no way this is like a fully fleshed patch. There's no notes on it or anything. Even its little banner seems smaller than all the others. So this is going to be like a little short event, whatever it is, and Blizzard's kind of having fun with it, and then we're going to get into Season 4.
Immediately, today's sponsor. It's boot.dev, which is awesome, and in fact, they're founders or viewers of this channel. Over there, code BELLULAR gets you 25% off your first payment. But what is boot.dev? Well, it's a programming RPG that makes learning back-end development
Shadowlands
fun. It offers you quests, levels, achievements, a global leaderboard to keep it spicy, but what's also spicy is the beans that are to be earned from this field. US back-end devs earn over 100 grand a year in median salary per Stack Overflow in 2023. And of course, being a programmer, you often get real terrific options like working from home. Now, BitDev specializes in back-end development using Python and Go at your own pace. The big point for me, though, is to avoid tutorial hell, just ping-ponging around the place, and to start actually coding with a proper program.
That's
and
right.
that is exactly
Nice.
what
Code with a
Boot
proper
is
program,
geared
guys.
towards. And just
I
going
know
through
nothing
the various
about
topics,
coding.
you can see there's an absolute boatload of content, starting super approachable, then getting properly in depth, and they're adding new lessons and features all the time. Essentially, a one-stop shop. And the reason why I mentioned tutorial hell is because that was kind of me in university. But here,
what is this? Use
you're
code
following
Bellular?
a
We're going to get a use code
focused
Bellular right
end-to-end
now.
learning path that will have you shipping projects, writing a ton of code, and feeling confident. And of course, if you get stuck, you don't have to worry because they've got their whole learning community over on their active Discord. Boot absolutely slays how I learned programming back in the day, and you can get started with 25% off your first purchase using code Bellular.
Yeah, use
After
code
you've learned to
Bellular.
be a back-end programmer, you've got the War Within Alpha. This should be pretty fun. Now, often here, what you have is not every spec, maybe even not every class. The zones are not all available.
Look, the alpha and beta, I think the main thing they're going to want to test, and the thing that's going to require the most testing by far is going to be hero talents. Has to be. That shit's, directly related to rotations and everything else. It's going to be a hero talent based alpha and beta. Yeah, we're going to have the new zones and everything, and that's fine, but Blizzard's done shit like that before. But hero talents? That's the big game changer, this expansion.
At once, and it's mostly there to test the very basics. I've been in many of these alphas, so there's very little endgame. It's basically just getting the whole thing rolling and working. So we got that, we got Season 4.
I still can't believe how fast we're going to get this
Season 4,
expansion.
they knew that saying Fated Raids would remind everybody of the Jailer, so instead they're calling them Dragonflight Raids Revisited. And you know what? If they do that well, and they let it be brisk enough, that actually may just be a big, stupid, fun bash. It might actually work. Think about Late Legion and how much fun that was. And of course, unlike the Shadowlands and Fated,
what I'm interested in, and one of the coolest things about Fated from Shadowlands was the mount they gave us. I still think the Slime Cat mount, was it something Cuddlesworth or whatever, the mount that we got, the Slimy Cat. It's one of the nicest mounts in the game. I love that mount. I still use it today. So I hope we get some, and that mount was a unique looking mount. Like we had never had anything like that in the game. It looked like a store mount. We got it for Fated rating. So I'm interested to see what they give us this time around. Because that was one of the cool motivators of it. I mean, that's what I ran it with Asmongold just so he could get the thing. I tanked for him. Yeah, I said it again.
Be more happy to do it because I'm just enjoying
Bigglesworth,
the game more.
I don't forget what his name is.
What's new though is open world rewards. It's hard to say exactly what these could be, but they do frame this in terms of the rewards and not really the content you would earn them via, which maybe makes me think this is a smaller update. Kind of hard to puzzle that out. That's not to say that world content people are going to be left for long, because also in spring we've got patch 10.2.7 Darkheart, and that's quite the name. What's it a reference to? I mean, surely not the heart of Azeroth. Look, whenever they say heart, they mean something, right? Is it metaphorical, such as the soul of the people, the heart of the world, or is it more literal, as in literally the heart of the world? There are a fair few people right now theorizing that essentially Azeroth is already corrupted. My personal take on that, I think, is that the Void got really...
I don't think she's corrupted, but I think she definitely plays both sides. She's on both sides. So maybe in the Titan's eyes, she's been corrupted.
Close to claiming Azeroth's soul. And I think all of that Titan jiggery pokery they've been doing since the Ordering of the World is probably them doing all of these machines to try to slow down the corruption and revert it and recover the world. Hence, of course, the last Titan conspiracy that Metzen mentioned, and that would also pay off what Odin said when he basically commanded the removal of all Black Empire advancements from history, such as maybe them actually doing some stuff with Azeroth. And narratively, that could work in making the Titans a group that we've got an adversarial at points relationship with, but still have them being purely in just favor of order in a way that feels less like they just suddenly, oh hey, we're villains now, which I think a lot of people have been worried about. Anyway, Darkheart, quite the name, it gets me thinking. At a minimum, though, we've got the Harbinger questline. This is going to be setting up Xal'atath's story directly, and that basically means we're getting a full...
Not the Harbinger, the Harbinger. But yes, I'm excited to do these quest lines. I think Xal'atath's story is very interesting. Maybe some of this quest line will first... I think we could see some of the Calaxy back or something. We're going back to visit this new city and everything, new Nerubian city. Maybe we start to interact with these with others that are related to the Nerubians before we get into there. Because that Nerubian city is a big part of her plan. We talked about this yesterday. That's a big part of her plan.
What appears to be the main antagonist of this next expansion. That is something we have never had. Then
Put
next
a space
we've got
between
time
enter
running
and one.
pandemonium. This is an interesting one. I mean, we have time walking, so what does time running look like? I don't know, maybe we're thinking about some sort of boss gauntlet. But anyway, it is spelt panda, as in the cute bears who don't know how to reproduce. Not Pandae or Pande, which sometimes spelled, which is the capital of hell in Paradise Lost. If they did spell it like that, I would have been thinking about Horrific Visions version 2.
Again, we talked about this back in October. A bunch of updates were made to Pandaria, and we were all speculating what the hell that could be about. The Mogu, like some of the statues were rebuilt. A bunch of the zones were kind of revamped again. We saw a lot of assets being redone in Pandaria, and the whole time we thought, oh, is the expansion taking us to Pandaria? Why is this shit going on? Well, I think this is why. They didn't call it time walking. So I don't think it's just time walking. If it is time walking, it's some kind of new version of it. But Pandemonium could be going back to Pandaria and doing something. Maybe that's why they revamped it.
But actually, the panda spelling is confirmed. Holly said so on Twitter. Now, she also said in response to people thinking it could be a return of mop challenge modes that it's something better than that. So could this actually be content? Personally, I would say yes. I think this is a piece of content. Otherwise, why would you brand it as a new sounding thing? That being said, we do have some data mining that suggests that Siege of Orgrimmar will be the next time-walking raid. So who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Then we've got the Troll and Draenei Heritage Armor. These are dead exciting by themselves.
Those are cool.
I want some like Draenei story in my game, but also while Heritage Armor quests.
He's excited about Draenei story. I'm actually excited about Troll story because like we freaking have Darkspear trolls on the Horde. And yet I feel like we know more about the Amani trolls and the Zandalari trolls than we do about the Darkspear trolls. I think we need more lore about them, man. Literally, they're just like, they freaking, what do they have, the Echo Isles or whatever? We don't go to their home a lot. Never seen what their civilization really looks like because they start in the Orc starting area. I would like to see some Zandalari troll stuff. Elena's 1,000 entries.
Should feel evergreen. We got to think about the next expansion
point
because
points,
down
guys,
in
to see how many points
we've
you have.
got the Arathi Paladins who are basically worshipping the light. They kind of follow this big light crystal beacon thing, seemingly right across the sea 2,800 years ago. So I've got to wonder then, could Blizzard use some of these narratives to thematically set up some of the stuff they'll be doing with the light? Anyway, we've also got another holiday. Then it's the War Within pre-patch, which will bring its systemic and gameplay changes, with the War Within itself appearing to drop.
We're going to get war bands before the expansion even goes live. That's awesome. By the way, dynamic flight. Some people were confused by because earlier in the timeline, the next patch, we are getting dragon riding and all of Azeroth. So people were like, well, what's the difference between dragon riding and dynamic flight? Well, dragon riding is the dragons that we get from the Dragon Isles, right? Those are the ones that can dragon ride right now. Dynamic flight is the enablement of all the other flying mounts, or most of them, to be able to ride like our dragons do, right? So that's what dynamic flight is. So you'll be able to ride invincible the same way that you currently do your dragon riding mount. And that's what dynamic flight is. So we'll have that in the pre-patch. And guild updates, I feel like could be cross-faction guilds, maybe.
Late summer, early autumn, and 10:05 before the end of the year,
G-mode dragon
along with
riding?
a 20th anniversary event. So yeah, it's a lot, but you may be wondering,
I don't know why I'm like this.
When can I expect this? To be honest, I think I know. All right, the War Within's first alpha build just hit the BNet servers, likely allowing for a friends and family test, right? So the Blizzard employees can just get it on their BNet account. Now, from Shadowlands, from the first alpha build, like we've just seen here, to the planned release of the expansion was 250 days, then the delay happened. For Dragonflight, that same number was 220 days. Add those to the data of the War Within hitting Blizzard CDN, and you basically have a release window of July to August for our next expansion.
Yeah.
August would, in fact, give it the same launch month as both Legion and BFA.
And the timeline, if you look at it, it really is August to early September. End of August, early September. I don't think we'll get it in July.
Timeline off, 10.25's release candidate is on the PTR. They usually hit release candidate 2 weeks before launch, and 10.25 hit the release candidate stage last week. So if you're to include maybe a week and a bit off, whatever it is for Christmas, then you're absolutely looking at early January for the release of this patch. Beyond that then, 8-week patches have been Blizzard's intention. That being said, I do kind of doubt that 10.26 will be the same size as 10.25 or 10.27, so maybe it and the Season 4 release date will be very close to each other. Maybe they'll actually be the same core beat. If you were to, though, assume January 9th for 10.25 and just do the 8-week thing, then we would have March 5th, 10.26, April 30th, Season 4, June 25th, 10.27, August 20th, 10.01 pre-patch, October 15th.
Day before my birthday, 10.2. Darkheart, of course.
Has to do launch, with me. And 10th of December, patch 10.1.5. You may be thinking then, is that time?
October 15th? What?
Timeline bullshit, Michael, and I would say, yeah, it actually is bullshit. There's two problems with it. Number one, the last 2 expansions pre-patches have been 4 weeks long. The second problem then is 10.26 and Season 4. Just given the normal differences between season launch dates and patch launch dates, I think it's very likely that we get patch 10.2.6 and then 1 week later Season 4 starts, because that's literally what they've done for the start of every single season. So if we get 8 weeks from the release of 10.25 and then drop 10.26 then, and then Season 4 the week after, then do patch 10.2.7 8 weeks after that, say May 7th, then War Within pre-patch dropping like 8 weeks later, that could be July 2nd. If that was to last 4 weeks, as the last 2 have, then the War Within would be coming out July 30th. Now, to me, July 30th feels too early.
A bit early. That's a bit early. I think that's a bit early. Yeah, I still think it's going to be like, the window is going to be like August 15th to September 15th, if I had to like just throw a dart at a board.
Early, but here's the deal. If you add 3 weeks to that, then you have the same relative release timing as Battle for Azeroth had in its year. So, as you can see, the 8-week rule only really takes us so far. Personally, I imagine things being a bit more spaced out, and us seeing War Within at earliest in late August, with a Season 4 that is just shy of 4 months long. We then have the War Within getting 1 patch out before 2025, then 2025 basically will repeat the exact same release pattern of 2023. Probably a smidge earlier, but basically, that's them kind of perfectly lined up. As for,
I feel like October is more like, it would have been more central in autumn. I feel like they put this thing, like if we look really hard at this, the center line is right here. I feel like it's shifted a bit more into the summer than it is into the autumn. Maybe I'm like overthinking it, I'm looking at it too much, but the center line is a bit off-center for the War Within. I do feel like October would be late. If they wanted, they would have shifted it more to the center then.
For the War Within, 18 months is their goal.
But it could be. I mean, they could change it.
So if it launches, let's just say at the latest August 27th, then Midnight would be launching the 27th of February 2027, which, funny enough, is the expansion returning to Quel'Thalas, dropping exactly 20 years after the expansion that introduced Quel'Thalas. And with that, we would then have the last Titan dropping late August 2028.
Get a ruler and measure it.
We have enough time to do a whole final Titan before the first half of 2029 is over, meaning we achieve Blizzard's goal. Because if you remember from BlizzCon...
I really don't think there will be delays this time around. I mean, King Julian, they did delay Shadowlands, but I think there was something going on at that time. Wasn't there like some kind of worldwide pandemic? Yeah. I think so. Like, there were reasons for them to delay Shadowlands. That made sense, but I don't think... I think the War Within, they're on point. Like, they got their shit together.
Mattson didn't say the final Titan would be out by 2030. He said the World Soul Saga would be concluded by then. And that means the final patch of The Last Titan being in 2029, which is exactly what this timeline says. Over in Classic then, that is what you'd expect, but Season of Discovery is getting great treatment. Level 40 and a Gnomeregan raid with a Stranglethorn Vale zone event, then a season at level 50, then another season at level 60, plus then another endgame season towards the end of the year. And that's where things get fun to me.
I'm not a big Classic Andy, but of all the stuff on this calendar that kind of surprised me, it was this. I was like, what the hell? Because I thought Season of Discovery would just end at level 60 and they'd be like, okay, that was fun, we did it. But they're continuing, like, this is legitimately Classic Plus at this point. If they continue on beyond level 60 and create more content for Classic, that's Classic Plus. Now, what would it be? I don't know what they could possibly do. There's lots of stuff they could do. if they did do a Scarlet Monastery raid or something, I'd be interested in that.
We already
I don't play
have
Classic,
Blizzard
but that would pique my
Teis
interest.
Scarlet Monastery and perhaps Karazhan Crypts as content that we could get. As well then as them talking about basically at level 60, they do want us to take all of the things that we get, like all the different runes and all of that in Discovery, and then take them into the raids of Vanilla. But the way that they said it kind of suggested they would have perhaps some ideas of maybe spicing those raids up. Obviously, I think if players are going in with a lot of power and a lot of knowledge, you're going to need some harder version of those raids. And that seems exactly like the sort of thing Season of Discovery is designed to do. So, basically, Season of Discovery is going to have a life at level 60. I mean, what do they do for the second endgame season of Discovery? I mean, are they adding new content? Are they doing a new raid? Is that when Karazhan Crypts happens? I don't exactly know, but honestly, that's really exciting. So big picture then, it looks damn good for WoW, frankly. We are essentially on a train of near uninterrupted content, and when you think about alpha cycles, beta cycles, and PTR cycles, I mean, there is literally going to be non-stop World of Warcraft news. Buzz.
I mean, if you play Classic and Retail, there's literally going to be new content like almost every month next year. It's crazy. I did play Hardcore. Yeah, I did play Hardcore for a little bit, but I wouldn't consider myself a Classic player. I just dabbled in it just for fun. Yeah, Holly tweeted cryptic shit recently. Yes, she did. She also responded to everybody who said pirate patch for 10.2.6 with the eyes looking sideways. She has fun on Twitter a lot, so that's good. But you can literally 2024 is going to be crazy packed with content.
Things going on across the two games, Modern and Classic, pretty much for like the many years.
Finsky, you need to put a space and then
as
a 1.
As a very long time WoW player, I'm used to a year of basically complete downtime, and that is not what we are getting. And yes, in fairness, the first half of 2024 is less compelling than, say, parts of 2023, where we were getting new raids and that sort of thing. Yeah, totally. I agree with you on that one. But those content patches look pretty damn
General
good
election too. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And with the War Within seemingly coming out earlier in the year, relatively speaking, than Dragonflight did, I mean, we don't even have to wait that damn long for the thing. And I think that's especially the case because you may as well subtract a month from that from pre-patch, because pre-patch is going to give you your war bands and all of that stuff.
That's
and to
true.
be honest, as soon as everything is account-wide, I feel like I'm going to be just getting ults ready, doing things. I'll have buzz and excitement. And then that we know there's another team making Midnight content right now is exciting, especially when we can kind of look and see, oh yeah, Midnight probably going to be February, March, something like that.
Yes, Clay, you could
2025. And then knowing they've got a whole team working at Midnight right now, making the zones and all of that, that's dead exciting. And remember, they also said that Midnight has a feature that will supposedly blow our socks off. Now, for many people, we're obviously thinking player housing, that kind of like real big new pillar of the game, new way of player expression style feature. But I think the point here basically is they seemingly have got a degree of parallelized development between their live team and their two expansion teams that we just do seem to be in pretty damn good hands. And as I highlighted to you quite recently, the player retention trends for Dragonflight are really good.
Great.
In fact,
yeah, they're good.
Season 3 of Dragonflight Mythic Plus.
Dude, Season 3 has been the most fun I've had in a long time, honestly. Season 3 is great. I love the dungeon pool. I don't feel like Mythic Plus is like impossibly annoying. The raid is like just the right amount of difficulty. I've been enjoying WoW a lot, honestly. I feel like Season 3 has been the best season of Dragonflight and one of the best seasons of WoW in a while. It's been fun.
Is being played more than Season 2 of Dragonflight Mythic Plus. And generally, throughout an expansion, you expect to lose people, not hold them, or even gain them. That is a very strong sign for the game's future. So there you go, the next year of World of Warcraft, but really from that, given the 18-month expansion timings, we can kind of work out a decent bit more than just a year. So overall, I'm very excited. For me, and I think this channel, it's particularly exciting. This will allow us to honestly go a lot harder, have a lot more fun, and hopefully make some types of content we haven't been able to do before. That's it for me. Let me know what you think. If you want, check out yesterday's video, or perhaps check out this awesome lore video that I'm sure you will enjoy, and learn backend programming with boot.dev. They are sick. They're also big WoW players, so I imagine Lane and co over there are also pretty hyped about all of this. All right, that's it from me. Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I mean, look, 2024 could be one of the best years of WoW we've had in a long time. And I'm not just high on copium or anything like that. Maybe I am. But looking at the calendar and the way things are laid out, I think we're going to get a lot of content, a lot of good content, and we're going to have a lot of fun.